Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a crochet phone case. I recorded this video about 2 years ago, then decided that the pattern wasn't very practical, but I decided to post it and let you people decide. You know best if it is practical or not. It is a pretty durable project. Here's how mine looked after almost 2 years of use. It just needs some washing. Other than that, it is just fine. We start with thin and stiff yarn. You better use the thin yarn because any thicker than this and it will be too bulky, not very cute. And here's a hook, a suitable hook for my yarn. I start by making a chain of stitches. You can make it as wide as you desire for your phone. A little tip, make it a bit wider, about a centimeter or two, because if you make it exactly the same width as your phone, it will be too tight and it will not work. And remember that there are 3 pockets in this phone case, and you need the extra width for the pockets to be functional. Next, we make the first row. You will skip the first stitch and single crochet in the second stitch. You will go like this until the end of the row. I will save you the trouble of going through this stitch by stitch, so fast forward to the second row. First, you yarn over, make a chain stitch. You do not single stitch right next to the chain stitch. You move to the next single crochet from the previous row. You make a single crochet and you go like this until the end of the row, so fast forward. As you come to the end of the second row, you will have to work through the chain stitch from the first row. It can be a little bit tricky, just be patient with it and work, and it will come eventually. Then you will turn the work, yarn over and repeat. It will be like this until you reach the desired length. You need 4 times the length of your cell phone and add it to that a little bit more. Like I said, you need extra space for it to be functional. Here's how mine looked like after I reached the desired length. Now you will need to fold this into half. Make sure it is precisely even. This is the most important part. This is how you will determine how the pockets will go, the length of them. It needs to be equal for each part. Smooth it out make sure it is even, fold it like so. Turn it over and fold the remaining part like so. Now you will need some pins to pin it out. The pins will make your life easier because what is about to come is the hardest part of the pattern. You will pin every two outer layers together. Remember that I hadn't cut the yarn. This is a one piece, no motifs, no cutting the yarn until it is very, very done and finished. Now it's time to stitch it together. You will start from this point, grab two layers together and stitch them together with slip stitch. You don't have to be very precise putting every row on the other row, just make sure they're even, they're on the same level. You don't want any masses, I don't know how to call it. Just make sure it is even and smooth, and you will do this until the end of this side. Now we have reached the end of the side. Basically you will go around the piece, so normally, naturally you will go across, and as you can see there isn't anything to attach together on this side, but we we will make a row of slip stitches because we will go round, as I said, and it will not make any sense if we attach the two sides together. Now, what are we going to do when we come back? Because it's around and back. And this row will also be very helpful when you finally come to attach these two sides together. Here we will do what we did on the previous two sides. We will attach those two layers together using slip stitches. This part is how the side pocket is formed. We went around, now it's time to go back. So the two layers we have stitched together, they had become one layer now, and now we will stitch them with the other two layers. So now we are stitching 3 layers together. We are going to use single crochet for this one because it can hold the work better than slip stitches. You will do this until you reach the end of the edge. Remember the row of slip stitches we did on this side? It's time for it to shine now. We are going to use it to stitch that side using single crochets, because as I said, it can hold the work better. This is the final stage in stitching and attaching the work together. You will need to stitch together these two layers. Do not stitch all three layers together. You will need only to stitch these two layers because this is how you make the side pocket. You will use slip stitches, no need for single crochets here. Also remember to remove the pins where you don't need them anymore as you are working, because leaving them in there is just risking getting pricked. Be careful when you are working, you do not want to get pricked by these pins. It's time to make the flap. Here, as you can see, I messed up while folding the piece together. The outer layers are a little bit shorter than the inside layers, but it is alright. You can actually do this intentionally if you like it this way, and I can make up for the missing rows while making the flap. Insert the hook into the first stitch of the row, make a slip stitch, then make a chain stitch. This will count as your first single crochet, and then you do single crochet until the end of the row. You turn the work over, you make a row of single stitches, and so on until you reach the desired length. I am sorry about this. We will have to continue with a different piece because I found out that my camera wasn't recording. So here I have reached the desired length for my flap. It's now time to make the loop for the button. I will make a sequence of chain stitches right in the middle. You want it right in the middle for the sake of symmetry. and then you will continue with your single crochets like you always did. You will turn the work, you will do single crochets until you reach the chain stitches. Work slip stitches in the chain stitches until you reach the other side, then continue normally with your single crochets. You will do this one or two more times. It depends on your yarn. Here, as you can see, my yarn is a little bit thicker, so you get what I was talking about the bulkiness. Any thicker than this and it will be too bulky. For the first time, I will cut my yarn. This is how you know it is done. I will tie it, and that's it. I'll use a needle to hide the tail. After this, you will need to pin down the zipper for the side pocket. As you can see here, my zipper is too long, so I'm going to tuck in the extra length and hide it inside the pocket. This is very important to pin down this one right. What comes next is a sequence of me clumsily sewing a zipper, so I will spare you this and jump right down to the finished product. And here is our zipper all done. You will need to measure how and where to put your button. You might want to put this a little bit down than the right position, because this will stretch and you don't want to end up with a loose flap, because it will be risky for your cell phone. It might fall out. So pull it down a little bit more than the exact position. You might want to put a marker with a pen or anything and start sewing. Here, as you can see, this is a crochet piece, and you can just go away with making a simple knot. You will have to tie it, or as I did it here, it was kinda like the knot used in the beginning of crochet work. Whatever you feel comfortable with, just make sure you tie it neatly and it doesn't come off. And proceed to sew your button like any other button is sewed. Pretty much it is done now. If you like how it is right now, right there, congratulations, you have a phone case. But if you want that belt and loop on the side, you'll have to watch the next video. This one was long enough, and I will have to make a stop here. Thank you so much for watching, and please check out the next video.